So I finally watched I'm a Celebrity South Africa, or as I'm calling it, I'm a Celebrity All Stars, which is a name that was just given to it on a fucking plate. I mean, the whole premise of the show is to win stars, not to mention they are technically stars anyway. So if any show deserved to be called All Stars, I think I'm a Celebrity was it. They missed the opportunity. Please excuse the fact we're still using this fucking 2007 ass mic. Tough times, desperate measures. But I wanted to get this video out quite quick while the show's still going. So a few thoughts. Some are pretty big, some are very, very nitpicky. One, I'm glad that they finally fucking changed the opening titles. Please let me elaborate on that. I adore the fact that I'm a Celeb is like the one show that has remained consistent for about 15 years. I think, yeah, the last time they changed the titles was like 16 years ago. So I'm really glad that they've maintained that identity forever. That's beautiful, right? But, and I think it's one of the reasons why it's still going successfully to this day. They didn't try and fuck with the format too much. They, in some ways you could argue that they should, but, if it isn't broke, don't fix it too much. So, on the whole, that's great. But when they were in the castle for those 2 years, I personally still maintain it should have been three, because having three means that it's like a little trilogy. You could call it like the castle years or whatever, but that's just me trying to get my little producer head on. But yeah, so being in the castle for those 2 years, they didn't change the fucking titles once. They were in Wales and the titles still resembled Australia. Whatever, I don't want to stay on this point too long, but it's just nice that they finally refreshed the opening titles. That was kind of needed, at least for this particular series. I do hope obviously they maintain the original once they go back to Australia. I digress. So secondly, I'll touch on the elephant in the room, spring. The fact that this is airing in spring. So, I personally think that the marketing for this was fucking disastrous. I've spoke to a few people who have no idea the show's even on at all. Can't blame them. All they seem to do is advertise it on the channel it's going to be fucking on anyway. So, in what word? Like, you should have billboards and shit. If you if you're gonna air a show, yes, it's famous. Yes, it's been around for a long time. Great. But if you're gonna air it outside its usual season, then you better fucking make sure you're promoting it quite well, and they didn't at all, and it shows, and it will show in the ratings, which is a shame because now they'll probably never do another Legend series ever, and they'll just put it down to, oh, we'll have pure ratings. It will have pure ratings because of pure advertising. There's no other way around that. Launching it in spring, however, I'm not objecting to. People keep saying, oh, it feels like Christmas, it's too weird. Like, I know people who just won't watch it because they think it feels too much like Christmas. Give it a chance, because it feels different enough that it feels kind of appropriate to be airing around spring. But at the same time, just being a little bit of a nerd about it, I'm a Celebrity's first 2 or 3 seasons, I think, did air around May. If I recall correctly, could be wrong, I'm near sure Katie and Peter, which is pretty much the most famous fucking series of them all, I'm pretty sure that series aired in May as well, of like 2004. So, it's not unheard of for it to be in May. If anything, considering it's its 20th anniversary, it's quite nice to go back to its roots in that regard. Whatever. On the point of it being its 20th anniversary, again, this is nitpicky. It's actually its 21st anniversary. Why the fuck was it? Why did this not air last year? They recorded it last year and still did a standard Australia series last year. Bit fucking stupid. If you're going to do this, I think, you need to go all in. Either, yes, do it in the spring and hype it up like fuck, advertise it, or just scrap the original series for 1 year and do a 3-week long proper All-Star series that's live, has the public, interacting, whatever. So, I kind of support, but also don't really support the springtime sort of launch. That in a similar way, I support, but I also don't really support the pre-recording of it either, because what I've noticed is it gives them a real sense of, how a lot of reality shows these days are made to be binged, and it's very obvious, these stupid fucking cliffhangers they all like to do, that really just interrupt the flow of the show. Yeah, so that comes across quite well, at least from the episodes I've watched. Like one episode will end in the night time, the next episode will begin that following night. So it does encourage binge watching, whatever, which is great if you want to be modern about it, but you are losing out on that public interaction. But at the same time, this is going back to what I said before about the format maybe needing a little bit of a change. I've always preferred, and this is probably because I like Big Brother a lot, but I've always sort of wanted more game playing, bitchiness, more just like, more of the celebrities interacting in the camp is what I've always wanted from the show. Less trials and shit like that. I really don't care at all for them. So, the pre-recording aspect does seem to allow, again, I haven't watched the whole season, but from the sounds of it, it may lead to a little bit more game playing. It may lead to more twists that you couldn't necessarily get away with a public vote. So I'm open to that as well. No harm in it. I see the positives and negatives, on both sides. The camp itself clearly is a fucking set. I don't know if they expect us to not know that, but it's very fucking obvious. Do you know what it reminds me of? Jungle Run. It's so blatant that this was made. Unlike the Australian one, where they just happened to find a little corner of Australia, the most beautiful little spot that organically became a TV set over 20 years. So it does have a different feel in that regard. You could argue, and I would be one of them, that actually helps the vibe of it airing around spring, summer, because, which is weird, hear me out here, you would think with the sunshine in Australia that actually would do it more. You would think that, but because we've been conditioned over 20 years to accept the sunshine Australia vibe as that's Christmas, weirdly, having a completely different set actually kind of works. So a lot of what I'm saying right now, I know is like very contradictory, but it is what it is. I hope they know we're not fucking stupid, and it's very obvious that it's a set. And when Nat and Dak sort of walked out after speaking to the housemates, I was going to say, after speaking to the celebrities, you could tell, like, there was fucking artificial lighting from the top, and you're like, that's not a sun, that's not the moon, So whatever, that's just an observation as well. Now that's gone to the nitty gritty. The cast themselves, it feels a lot less like, and I know they didn't call it All Stars, we've already touched on this topic, but it feels a lot less like I'm a Celebrity All Stars and a little bit more like I'm a celebrity who is available and who's the cheapest. Because a lot of these people, not all by any means, but a lot of them are just like, okay. Like, nobody looks at these people and thinks, oh yeah, they were from I'm a Celebrity. Gillian McKeith, yes, people look at her and immediately remember I'm a Celebrity. But there's some people in this that you're like, the guy from Diversity. Who the fuck looked at his series and thinks, I'm gonna have a little look in a second actually to what series he was in and who the cast were. But whoever looked at that series and thought, you know what, he deserves to come back in like the ultimate Celebrity All Stars fucking Final Legend Edition, whatever you want to call it. Nobody. But I'll tell you what did happen is ITV or whoever looked at it and went, he'll be cheap, he's available. Okay, that's simple, and it comes across. It really comes across when you're looking at the cast. You just kind of go, okay. Now I'm a realist, and I'm not going to say for a second that I expected any real major names like Caitlyn Jenner, fucking even Gino D'Acampo, like the people who either launched their careers and have done really well since it from I'm a Celebrity, like Gino, or people who were just sort of once in a blue moon, like Caitlyn Jenner. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, they should have got this person and that person and try and make me my whole list. But being realistic about it, what will stop them getting Joe Swash? Or and I'll go one further, right? And I'm, again, nitpicky. But Kim Wheatburn, is she not available? I class her as fucking jungle legend. But if she's too, because Kim, again, has done quite well for herself. If she's too big now to come back, then David Van fucking Day, alright? David Van Day, please allow me to go on this tangent. I just mentioned Joe Swash, so the 2008 season of that show always had a special place in my heart. There's been better seasons since then, sure. I would love them to have just literally went through each season, and again, you probably could have done this had you had a longer run, like a 3-week long actual series, rather than it being pre-recorded and shrunk down, bite-sized sort of fucking format to fit in the schedule randomly in the middle of spring. Yeah, David Van Day. Nobody, I don't expect anyone to remember him. He was in a band, Bucks Fizz, randomly came in I'm a Celebrity as a latecomer and stirred the pot. I mean people like him that aren't necessarily huge names really, but played a huge role in making their season memorable. That's all I mean. So I didn't watch Helen Flanagan's season. That was one of the few seasons I didn't watch. Janice Dickinson, I didn't watch her season either. Pretty much every other one I have. But I understand just from hearsay and such that they did contribute a lot, I think, to their season, particularly Janice. I don't actually think we need Gillian McKeith and Helen in the same season. Gillian would be fine. So in some respects they did do a good job there. But then, and having Sean Ryder certainly is a welcome addition as well. But there's just some, Carol Vorderman, I mean, nothing against her. I still think now what I thought back then. Hot as fuck for her age. But did anyone look at her after I'm a Celebrity and think, oh yeah, she was such a fucking icon in the jungle? No. People still look at Carol and think of Countdown. So what I would have loved is that they had just went after people who became known for their appearance on I'm a Celeb rather than their celebrity previous to that, if that makes sense. I think it makes sense. And Gillian McKeith's a perfect example of that. Another argument you could have made, and I'm always against this, people used to say this about Big Brother actually as well, put all the winners back in. The problem with that with Big Brother is a lot of the people who win Big Brother are fucking dull, and they only won because of how the format of that show for most seasons were basically eliminate anyone who's entertaining and keep the dullards at the end. That's why most of them won. But with I'm a Celebrity, because it's vote to save the whole way through, you technically do end up with pretty decent winners most of the time. Most of the time. So I wouldn't have been opposed, and it would have made a lot of sense to have ultimate sort of king or queen of the jungle kind of situation. That would have been really, really, really fucking interesting to see them all interacting and see who comes out on top. And again, you would have got Joe Swash there. I'm not some Joe Swash fanboy, but I just think, I look at him and I think I'm a Celebrity. Nobody looks at Joe Swash and thinks, oh, that guy from EastEnders from like 20 years ago. No, they think I'm a celeb. So that's all I mean. I digress again. But do forgive me, because I am going to go and check out the cast from 2016. Yeah, which I believe is Carl Vorderman and Jordan Banjo. That's his name. There you go. The first season of I'm a Celeb premiered on 25th of August. Oh, day after my birthday. 25th of August 2002. And in many ways, I kind of wish I had a stayed a summer show. Because it does fit that vibe. As I said before, the Australian sun fits the vibe beautifully. I have never really been a fan of fucking sitting with Christmas decorations up, a dark night, watching sunshine. Most people, I understand, love that because it's like escapism from the dark vibe of the UK, whatever. I personally like things to match, so that's why I was actually a real fan of the Castle years, because it matched the tone that we were actually in ourselves. I'm a Celebrity is often a ratings winner for ITV. Yeah, usually. It won't be this year. The show will sorry, I'm going through Wikipedia. The show will remain on air until at least 2025. That's interesting, isn't it? Who knows, if it'll fucking... Jesus, I forgot all about Holly Willoughby presenting that one year. I think that was the year that Carl Vorderman was in it, and the guy from Diversity. Let's see. So, it would have been season 16, maybe? Yeah, I mean, Jesus fuck. You had Joel Dommett, Scarlett Moffat, and Adam Thomas. Why not put Joel Dommett back in? Again, I only know him from I'm a Celebrity. I'd argue a lot of people only really know him. Now, yes, he's a successful presenter and such, but he got a break from I'm a Celebrity. Before then, he was a comedian. So, why not put him in? These people have a lot to thank the show for, so I don't actually think they would have been opposed to going back in and doing it again. What clearly this whole thing stinks off is, let's just save money. Oh my god, right. So you got Laurie Lamb. So in that season, that was a very forgettable fucking season. Jordan Banjo, Carl Vorderman, Laurie Lamb. What a god awful season, and yet it has two contestants from it representing it in this All Stars show. What the fuck? Amir Khan. That's it. I'd actually argue a lot of the fun went towards him. And if that is the case, as much as I love Amir Khan and seeing him in the show's great again, Ian Lee would be better. Ian Lee brought a lot more to that season than Amir Khan did. Just saying. And I think he would have been cheaper as well, obviously. But I hope you're beginning to get what I'm trying to say here, and it really is just less about star power, oh wow, Amir Khan, he's a big name, and more about paying tribute to the show itself and what it's done for certain people's careers and what they have done for the show. That would be a beautiful celebration in my mind. So, some other observations quite quickly. It was lovely to see on the opening episode, so there's two things I want to point out about the opening episode. One is they split them into like 3 groups of 3, and I believe one entered via the river, one entered via jumping off a cliff, and the final group came in via helicopter. I don't know if anyone picked up on this. I did because I'm a mega fucking fan, but those 3 ways that they all entered symbolize the 3 different ways over the years that different seasons have introduced the contestants, which I think is quite, it's just like a little nice sort of Easter egg, I guess. So that was beautiful. I did worry early on in the episode when Nat and Dak were communicating with celebrities via tape recorder that I was like, have they really? Is this how the entire season's going to be? Just Ant and Dak on a tape? Fortunately not. What I will say though is having the contestants sort of back each other on, through the actual trial. Is back each other on the right word? Egg each other on? Is that the right word? Support each other, I guess, right? They support each other. Pep talks and shit. You got this, you can do this, man, come on. All that shit. The stuff Ant and Dak usually do. It was lovely to see that, because that kind of felt like They had all done it before. They had all been given that pep talk at different points in their lives over their own season by Ant and Dec. And now these guys were in a position, older and wiser, experienced, they were in a position to give that pep talk themselves. So that, for me, was lovely. That really was actually quite nice. So I'm not opposed to that at all. That was beautiful. And I'm sure Ant and Dec weren't available and did the tape recording because of like logistic reasons. But again, it worked out quite well. I love that. So I guess that's pretty much all my thoughts on it so far. They did mention a few surprises along the way. Depending on when you're watching this, the show may be over, may not be. But from where I am right now, the only surprise I've seen is Gillian McKeith jumping out of a box, which was pretty fucking... I never thought I'd smile at the said Gillian McKeith, and I did. And it's nice again to see 2010 having two celebrities represent it, because that was a fucking stellar year. 2008 till 2011, I feel, were like the golden years of that show. So, I hope, do you like my little fucking attire today we're going for? Sort of I'm a celeb, little vibe. So, in fact, I'm not going to show you it, but on the back of this shirt, you've got, the number and the name. That's how much I love that show. But it's just reality TV, man. I love reality TV in general. I really just want to finish this video by repeating one final point, and it's something I've already said before, but they shouldn't have fucking called it that. Okay, take this into consideration. Even if the advertising is piss poor and shit, whatever, ITV's a fairly big channel, so they could rely on people, one, word of mouth, but also people scrolling through TV guides at like 9 PM and seeing I'm a Celebrity, South Africa, and being like, oh fuck, okay. And checking it out. But that's not going to happen, and I'll tell you why. Because most people are going to see I'm a Celeb, South Africa, and what will you immediately think? You're immediately going to fucking think, oh, so ITV have just commissioned like the South African version of that show? I don't really care. I don't know any South African celebrities. Why would we give a fuck? That's what they're going to think. And you can't blame them. It's literally... I do not understand what went through their fucking heads to greenlight that name. I'm a Celebrity, All Stars. I'm a Celebrity, Jungle Legend. I'm the greatest celebrity. I don't fucking know, mate. But there's a million different names that you could call it that communicate instantly, without any need for really any further marketing. Communicate instantly what the show is, what the premise is, why it's different, and why you should watch. There you go. And All Stars does it. Everyone knows what that means. It's kind of like when Big Brother did it. They called it Ultimate Big Brother instead of Big Brother All Stars. But again, fair enough. Like, I mean, it wasn't great, but it kind of made you feel like, oh, this is something different. South Africa just turns people off. Sorry, it's true. And in a media landscape at the moment where so many people are very interested in other shows, other reality shows that from around the world that are like counterparts to ones we have here. For example, one that comes to mind immediately is Married at First Sight Australia, Married at First Sight USA. People do watch those things, fair enough, but that's because civilians are universal regardless. So if you see Married at First Sight Australia and you're a fan of the UK one, you're still likely going to watch it because you're like, oh, well, whatever, people are people. If they speak English, I can understand them. That's fine. That's great. The same does not apply to Celebrity because people are only going to go for what they fucking know. And if nobody, obviously, from the UK knows any celebrities from South Africa, then why the fuck would they watch this? And that's exactly what that title communicates. So, sorry ITV, but you've really got to take some fucking ownership for when this flops, and I hope it doesn't, but it will. So, that's a shame. Really, it really is a shame. That's about it for this one, guys. Yeah, just a few thoughts, nothing too serious, just a few thoughts on that. I do love doing more videos about TV and entertainment and just pop culture rather than constant fucking politics and, other shit. So it is quite nice to just ramble about something I really do and love. And you'll tend to find that when I love and care about something, I'll be more and more and more passionately angry about it because I want to treat it right. And that's all this really is at the end of the day. Something I love that I want to see do well. I've ranted and raved enough, I think, and that's about it. So, yeah, take it easy, stay sovereign, see you next time, bye bye.